Hello, everybody. Sam with The Blind Life here. Thank you guys for joining us today. We are doing a live stream. This is Talk Back with The Blind Life. Talk Back with Rachel and Sam. And let me just finish getting ready here. I just lost Rachel. She's going to have to join again. But I hope you guys are doing well. This is our monthly podcast, video podcast, where we answer comments and questions, and we talk about certain topics. One of which is we are going to be talking about the brand new Apple Vision Pro. If you guys have questions about that coming up towards the end here, save those questions. We will be answering those questions. Let me try and get Rachel back in here. Hope you guys are doing well. Just hang out with me for a second. Call Rachel Mobile.
Calling Rachel Mobile.
Hey, you got kicked out. You have to join again. All right. Oh, there she is. There she is.
Hello.
Hey, all right. Rachel's here, and we are good to go. All right. So today, like I said, we're going to answer some comments and questions from our previous months. If anybody is in here yet, hello, welcome to the live stream. Really great to see you guys. Like I said, though, we are also going to be talking a little bit about the brand new Apple Vision Pro. If you guys have questions about this, please let me know. Put them in the chat, but we will wait a little bit later to answer questions about the headset. First, we will get to kind of the videos and things like that. And of course, stay tuned to the end because we always do a giveaway during Talkback. So that will also be at the end. We'll announce the giveaway and how you can enter in to win. All right, Rachel, sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, let's jump into it then. Yeah, actually, well, let's talk real quick about upcoming events before we do.
Okay.
So the biggest one that's coming up that I'm excited about is the Stargarts Summit at the end of February. It's February 29th, and it will be in Boston at the Carroll Center, just outside of Boston, basically in Boston, but just outside. This is going to be a virtual event. There may still be a couple seats left for in person. If you are interested in that, check out my post. I posted last week about that on all the different social medias and stuff. There's a contact you'll have to reach out to inquire about that. But I know they're very limited, like maybe 5 spots at the time. They may have already been filled up. But other than that, it is virtual event, 100% free for anybody in the world. This is an international event. And it will be, I think, from like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern on the 29th. So check it out, Stargarts Summit. You can Google that to get information, or you can go directly to the Carroll Center's website, CARROLL, and learn more about that. I will be there. I'll be doing a panel. Bradford Manning, Two Blind Brothers, is doing the keynote. Lots of really good stuff. And then I've got a ton of... Yeah, sorry. And then I've got a ton of things in March also, but we'll get to that later. Yeah.
All right. We'll jump in then. I guess the first video is it Be My AI?
Be My AI, yes.
Probably.
That was my talking about the new feature of Be My Eyes.
Okay, so we've got a lot of comments on here. Let's grab a couple. Netty Boy said, I'm particularly keen to see this combined with smart glasses. I use Ampere electrochromic glasses to manage the light conditions, which can make my vision even worse. The current glasses have built-in speakers and a Bluetooth connection to my phone. If a camera was added to this and functionality, you could enter a room, click a button, and the AI would describe the scene to the wearer discreetly on the built-in speakers. Great video, by the way. Thanks for all you do to promote the blind life.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be added into. I mean, there's a ton of wearables out there that are utilizing Android systems, and so it shouldn't be too difficult to kind of modify this app to work on those. It will not be my AI, but the Envision glasses already have a version of this, you could say. It's called Ask Envision, and it's also using Chat GPT to do essentially the same thing. And then you can ask it questions, follow-up questions, just like with Be My AI. So that already is on the Envision glasses, but like I said, I could see that this app or something similar to this coming to smart glasses, even like the Apple Vision Pro, in the very near future. And in fact, on that note, I'm going to be doing an interview with Mike, the CEO of Be My Eyes. I'm going to be doing a podcast interview with him very, very soon. So stay tuned to the Blind Life podcast for that.
And I'm sure you'll bring up this topic with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The next one I see, which it looks like you liked it, Vulcan on wheels. There's a timestamp on it, which I'm not sure what it refers to. But it says, "I thought you said you wouldn't bring that up again." Wink. Do you know what that was or no?
No, oh man, maybe the name. I kept talking about. I said at the beginning, and then I said it later on in the video that I'm not crazy about the Be My AI name, and actually, that's how I got connected with the CEO, Mike. He actually emailed me and he's like, "So you didn't like the name, huh?" And I'm like, no offense to anybody. It's just, it just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't click with me for some reason.
Yeah, which, you can't please everyone.
No. But at the same time, I'm terrible at naming things. So don't ask me what it should be named. I just know what it doesn't work for me.
Okay. Drizza97 said, "Cool video, Sam. The Be My AI feature is now available on the Blind Shell Classic 2 as well."
Yes, and I think that's awesome. Any Blind Shell Classic users out there, you can go to the app catalog and download Be My AI or Be My Eye, and have it working on your device. Pretty awesome.
Okay, and then LW1088 said, "Sam, thank you for the content. When downloading the app, am I downloading Be My Eyes, or is there a separate app called Be My AI?"
So this is a great question, and this is something that pops up, and maybe another reason why I'm not crazy about the Be My AI name is because it causes a little bit of confusion. So no, this is just a new feature of the Be My Eyes app, EYES, Be My Eyes. So you just download Be My Eyes. It's a free app. It's available on Android and iOS. And down at the bottom, there are tabs. And I think it's the second tab over, maybe the third, it's the Be My AI tab. So you click on that tab and that takes you into this new feature.
Okay. There were quite a few other comments on here, but a lot of them overwhelmingly were just like how happy they were with this and the uses they could see for them. One that I stumbled upon earlier, but I'm not seeing now, was someone had commented that they used it in the refrigerator. They opened the refrigerator and used it, and that it was really nice because it described what, like by shelf, what was in there, which I could see being really helpful.
Yeah, I remember that comment too. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's why this, like I said before, oftentimes I don't get excited about new stuff because it's generally just kind of an upgrade to the stuff we've already seen. But the whole adoption of AI and the possibilities, it's just like endless possibilities of how this could help us specifically getting that information. Well, on that note, I've got a friend who is a farmer. He's a cattle farmer. And forever, he and I have been trying to find a solution for him. He also has Stargarts, and a solution for him to keep track of his cattle because all his cows have an ear tag with a number, but he can't see that at a distance anyway. And so we were talking about, Way Around or some of these other, tagging systems. And then he tried Be My AI after watching the video, and it's working great for him because it will describe the cow, it reads the tags. But what's awesome is he has to give injections to these cows, like they inoculate them against some cow stuff. I don't know. I'm not a cattle farmer, but and so he said that what is awesome is he can scan the syringe and it tells them how much is in there, how many cc's is in the syringe. And he said that also has just been a game changer for him and has really opened up a lot of stuff that he can do himself more independently on the farm, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know something else that quite a few people mentioned too was that they really loved it, that if someone texted them a photo in the past, they may not be able to see what the photo was or see enough of it, and they could use Be My AI, and it would
Yes.
describe the photo for them, which I think people really enjoy as well.
Yeah. There's some people had the suggestions that they wish they could save the image. Once you take it, you could save it somehow into your photo gallery. And that's good feedback. I always recommend if you have feedback like that, try to contact the developers. Usually they have some type of way to send feedback. That's all good stuff. And I'll definitely bring it up when I do my interview with Mike.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you wanted to add to the Be My AI video, Sam?
No, just like I said, it's free app. Download it and check it out. Play around with it.
Okay. So the next video that we will read some comments on was will the Tesla robot be the answer video.
Yes.
So let me.
Somebody's comment on there is the answer to what? What's the question? The answer to everything.
The answer to the meaning of life.
Yeah, the answer to our independence really is what the question is.
Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of comments on here.
Yeah, there was
comments on this video. That's pretty cool.
Well, real quick, while you're kind of skimming through, brief description of the video if nobody saw it. So Tesla just back in December released an update kind of information about their robot, which is named Optimus. And this is like Gen 3 Optimus. They just started back in 2021. So 3 years later, and this thing is incredible compared to where they started just 3 years. So, Boston Dynamics has their robots, Spot and Atlas, I think is the name of their bipedal robot. And they're awesome. They're really cool, but they've been making these robots since the 90s. So, the time Tesla has come very, very far in just 3 years. It's insane. And so when you watch these things, you can't help but think that in the very, very near future, like 10 years, these might be assigned as personal assistants for the blind and the handicapped. In fact, that's what one of Tesla's goals with this Neuralink and their robotics and things like that. It's to be assistants for people with severe mobility impairment, Parkinson's, all of that. The Neuralink is supposed to cure blindness and all that. So, and their goal is also to mass produce. So that's what the video was about, kind of starting that discussion and talking about the different robots and how they could be helpful for us.
Here in the chat, Joe Ansman said, Kenneth, there was just a podcast about a robot dog on the Leader Dogs for the Blind podcast called Taking the Lead. It was very recently. So that's cool.
For the last like 2-3 years now, I do a presentation on the future of assistive technology, and I have a whole section in there about robot guide dogs. There are a lot of companies working on robotic guide dogs, and unfortunately, I don't know of any that are working on like the Boston Dynamics quadruped, looks like a dog kind of robotic guide dogs. All the ones I've seen they look more like little buggies that kind of walk in front of you with like wheels and stuff. But how awesome would that be to have like one of those Spot robot dogs just trotting in front of you on a on a harness?
Okay, so I've skimmed this a little bit. I'd say so far the comments I've seen, they've been overwhelmingly like, this is awesome, I would love this type of stuff. DeWord said, I, for one, welcome our robot overlords, which totally sounds like something you would say, Sam.
Yes. Bow down.
Yeah, a lot of people like who was that? Terry Sager 1091 said, "I love this, especially since I prefer not to have strangers come into my home. As much as I appreciate the help, humans are human." It says hashtag robots for the blind, and I can see that. It would be nice to not have, number one, may just not want people in your home. But number two, I know sometimes people feel they feel like they're being a burden, even if the person assisting you doesn't feel like you're being a burden to them at all. I know,
Yeah.
people just like to be independent. So I think
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And then someone else mentioned they're legally blind and they also only have about 40% of their hearing. And so something like this could help in many, many ways for the deaf-blind community.
Yes. Speaking of the deaf blind community, not even the blind, I guess it could be, but I saw recently a story about couple of MIT students who, like 19-year-old students who they have invented these gloves that connect to a computer via Bluetooth, and they translate sign language, the gloves. So as the person does sign language in real time, the computer can translate that into both text and audio. So like, can you imagine having an app on your phone and the deaf person goes into a restaurant or something and just starts signing and it speaks out loud what he's signing, and then the person could, answer them and it writes it out on their phone and in text to speech. And it's just like, it's the world is, there's amazing technologies for the disabled community coming out right now that are just going to change everything.
Yeah. Some more just good comments about suggestions for what a robot could do, but there are also a couple of kind of let's bring it back to reality things. Hillary Weiner 893 said, "It's amazing stuff, but keep in mind this is still early days and there will be all kinds of bugs that show up as these robots are used outside of controlled situations. Eventually this technology may be helpful as personal assistants, but AI is not yet predictable or reliable enough to operate consistently in the real world." And that's true. However, like you mentioned, this stuff is improving rapidly right now. So, who knows what the timeline will be. And along the same lines, Dean Preston 5887 says, "Tesla will use Optimus in manufacturing first. General assistant tasks will happen later. Early adoption may be home delivery services, or how about handicap assistance in conjunction with robotaxi? But the general around the house tasks would come much later." And I agree. I think they're going to use it in a way that's, number one, in a more controlled environment, and number two, not a one-on-one thing, probably, one person to one robot
Yeah.
right at the beginning, but still really cool. JD Vision said, "Imagine using robots like these as assistants for the business enterprise program vendors. Personally, I'd have one of these robots installed inside of my future self-driving delivery van. It sounds so sci-fi. I would call it Johnny 5.
Yes. I mean, no, that's a legit thing.
Yeah.
That would be a great use for one of these guys. The heavy lifting, do the heavy lifting.
Yeah. If you have your inventory is, placed in specific areas. I mean, it would work a lot like what they already have robots in warehouses,
Yeah.
And it would be similar to that, especially once you have a self-driving vehicle, then you wouldn't need an assistant.
Right.
Jay McGregor 316 said, "Very informative as always. Thank you. Jetsons, here we come. All I need now is a lot of money." It's like, agreed, because that's the thing too, is when they first become available, the price tag is going to be insane. It'll come down eventually, but it'll be insane at first.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're saying, the price of a car to own one of these things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Eagle Eye Go One MU said, "I'm so torn on this. The blind tech enthusiast in me is very excited, but I've seen all the movies that show machines taking over the world, like Terminator and iRobot, and it scares the absolute crap out of me. I really don't know what to think right now. Like, all I can hope for is that the scientists who are developing this cool but scary tech are being very careful and taking every precaution that is necessary." And you know me, I kind of fall into that category a little bit as well.
Yeah, maybe I'm just too much of an optimist, or maybe I'm naive, but I think, like, had we grown up in the 80s with a bunch of movies about toasters taking over and killing humanity, then we would have this innate fear of toasters. I think it's just we've been conditioned to some degree. Um, Now, I don't get me wrong, I part of me kind of feels that way as well, but I'm holding out hope.
Yeah. And for me, it's not that I'm not afraid of a world where the robots, dominate us or anything. I just fear a world where robots are taking over a lot of the creative things. That's what, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
photography and editing and art and you know literary
Right.
stuff. That's the part that bothers me, because it becomes more and more difficult to tell the difference between AI and a human's work.
Oh yeah, yeah. They already can write better than anything I could.
Okay, I'm still heading through. Let me look at a couple of comments here.
Rachel's doing all the heavy lifting through this one.
I I am.
We ran out of time today. We didn't really prepare as much as we should have.
Yeah, well, I didn't prepare for there being this many comments on some of these videos either. A lot of these videos have a lot of comments on them.
Yeah, they have
Sam,
some big videos.
in the chat here, uh, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the username. Glamolis or
Oh yeah,
Glamolize says,
Grandma.
I've been meaning to email you. My dots on steroid never arrived, with the sad face. Is that the person you were needing their phone number or something?
Yes, I sent you an email forever ago saying that I needed your phone number. UPS, since it's international, you live in Canada, UPS needs your phone number. And so I sent out an email asking for that. So maybe it got missed or something. If you just email me your phone number, then I can get it. I've got your package literally sitting right here waiting to go.
Yeah, boxed up and ready. So
Do me a favor, also resend your address. I think I still have it, but just so I don't have to kind of search back through emails, send me your address and your phone number. That should be everything I need. A phone number, doesn't have to be yours.
okay. All right. Basically, I would say if this is something you guys are interested in, or a discussion that you like to have, you should definitely check the comment section out on this video. Most of these things are not questions. It's a lot of people just sharing their thoughts on either suggestions the robot could do, or their concerns about robots and wealth and who could be affording it, and people losing their jobs because robots take over the jobs and stuff like that. There's a lot of really interesting discussion in here, but I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of it isn't really stuff that you need to answer or whatever.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
shall we move on to the next?
Yep. Sounds good.
So the next one is exploring the 2024 ATIA
Conference.
Assistive Technology Conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get into there, though, Sam, I saw a question in here that I think I heard you answering, but they may not. I know sometimes it's you don't realize that someone has answered your comment on YouTube. It was I can't find it now, but I saw it when I was scrolling through earlier. Someone asked about ideas for how they could watch their grandson play hockey.
Oh, yeah. So I left a comment. I just today earlier while we were looking through comments, I saw that one and I left a comment there. But yeah, so I personally use a wearable like Iris Vision, the Iris Vision Live, Iris Vision Live 2.0 is either out right now or coming out soon. I've got one down here. I'm going to be doing a video for very soon. Or the Patriot Viewpoint works. There are others like eSight and uh, oh gosh, what's that other one called? I don't know, but just they work. Different ones work for different people, but they are essentially like electronic binoculars. So you mentioned using your iPad to zoom in. That's exactly what they do. I've had a lot of success with the VR style personally, like Iris Vision, Patriot Viewpoint, A-Sight is another one. And like our daughter was in theater all throughout high school. And so I could go sit in the middle of the theater or even in the back of the audience and see her on stage, but just by zooming in with the goggles, with the headset. So I would look into that. Iris Vision, Patriot Viewpoint, look into one of those. And I have tons of videos on all of these. I took my Iris Vision we took it to New York and we went to all the different museums, Natural History Museum. I could zoom in and see the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, they work really well for that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay, so some comments on the ATIA Assistive Technology Conference, which number one, first in the chat here, I see Mike Wheeler said the ATI Expo was amazing and he recommends that everybody go to it. He's definitely going back next year. You got to meet Mike, right?
Yeah, got to meet in person. It was pretty awesome. Got a picture taken, and Mike's taller than I thought he was. That was the first thing that struck me. I'm like, wow, it's not that you have like I don't know why I pictured you a little shorter than that.
Okay. As far as the comments on the ATIA video, a lot of people just saying thanks and that they had no idea there was so much out there and some, just cool things. Nancy Irwin 3150 said, I hate that I missed you. That hotel was huge. It took a few days, but my guide dog and I eventually figured it out. And you had said, isn't it the biggest? Was it a Marriott?
Marriott World Center in Orlando. They claim it's the largest in the world. And yeah,
the largest Marriott in the world.
Largest Marriott in the world. They've got, I don't remember how many, they told me how many like pools and restaurants and stuff. And the number was amazing, like 9 pools and, 16 restaurants or something like that. It was crazy.
Okay. And then 99 Ways to Always Be Happy said, we want to attend the next one. Can we get on a list to be notified? Do you know, Sam, if they have a list or anything?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's just an annual conference. You can go to their website, atia.org, and it should already have the dates listed for next year. And you just register through the through the website. You can register for the full conference, which does cost money, or you can register just to attend the exhibit hall, which is what I always do, what Mike does, I guess. And that's free. So yeah, so they may have a newsletter. I'm not sure. Probably do, but mostly you just go to the website. It's always in kind of around the end of January, beginning of February.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's always at the same time. So I would put something up, put a reminder on your phone for like maybe October or September to double, to check the website to get information about it or something. Especially if you have to make travel plans. If you don't have to make travel plans, you could, set it for January 1. Oh, Mike said the next expo is January 30th through February 1st.
Oh, look at that. I was right.
Good job, Mike. He also said it's because you're used to seeing, the reason why you thought he was smaller is because you're used to seeing him in a teeny tiny box during their member Zoom call.
I'm sure that's it. He actually changed his picture to the picture of he and I is now his profile picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy Michael said that she gets emails from them, from ATIA.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'm sure, you can get on their email list. I'm sure they have a newsletter, and I'm sure they will start to promote it as it gets closer.
Okay. Let me see what else I've got on here.
Now, while you're looking at that, kind of on that same topic, the next big assistive technology conference is in Anaheim, California, March 18th, 19th, that week through like the 23rd, something like that. That is CSUN, CSUN. And that is also at a Marriott in Anaheim, California, LA, basically. And I will be there also. Looking forward to that. So that's the same deal. If you want to attend the full conference, it costs money, but you can also just go to the exhibit hall. And all of these also have virtual components as well. If you can't travel, you can still join the virtual events. But yeah, that's the next big one in the middle of next month. And hopefully see some people there. I'll be in the exhibit hall pretty much the whole time walking around. I'll be guest appearing at some booths. Right now, I can confirm I will be at the IRIE AT booth, which is IRIE AT for assistive technology. Their booth should be right when you walk through the doors. It's right there in front, and I will be there a couple hours each day. So would love people to stop by and say hello.
Okay. So, oh, go ahead. Did you have something
I
else
was
to
going to
say?
say, there's also a chance I'm going to be doing a meetup at the conference. So if anybody's going, stay tuned. I will be posting about it. We're trying to work out a time we're going to rent a space or book a space there in the hotel and do like a meetup, a meet and greet, have some snacks and drinks and things, and should be pretty fun. So stay tuned for more information about that if we can work it out.
Okay, so one of the other comments on that video was that they were hoping you would be doing review about the Apple Vision Pro. And hey, the very next video that you posted was the Apple Vision Pro unboxing and first impressions. Is it accessible for the visually impaired? So
that's the
we
one.
will look through those. I think before we really start talking about that, I think one thing that you need to make clear is you were not gifted that.
No, I was not. Apple did not send it to me. They're not sponsoring that in any way. I purchased this with my own money, and so that I could make the review, mainly because so many people have asked me to do it. And judging by the number of views that video, just the unboxing got, it's clear that a lot of people are interested in this product. And so when people are watching my full review video, which will be out next Saturday, when you're watching that, just remember that, it's I'm being honest because I had to buy this with my own money.
I mean, he might be a little bit harsher on it than if it was free.
Oh yeah. But and then if you guys have questions about this, like I said, here towards the end, I'm happy to answer questions about the Vision Pro. But just know, I'm going to be answering like specific questions, or not. I'm not going to be answering any opinion questions. Whether I like it, whether I think it's going to be good for RP, that sort of thing. I'm just going to be fact based. Does it have this feature? How does it do this? That kind of thing. If you want the opinion stuff, you got to wait for my full review coming out next Saturday.
Okay. Okay. So some of the comments, you have over 100 comments on this one as well. Jack Marchetti 29 says, I have RP, and one thing I do at night is use my iPhone camera, as everything is much brighter that way. I was always curious about just sticking an iPhone in front of my face at night and wondering how bright Vision Pro makes the dark environments look. So does the Vision Pro brighten things up?
So it does a little bit. So it does have some type of auto like exposure balance or ISO or frame rate or something, to where if I look at a bright light, it kind of darkens a little bit. If I look away from a bright light, it brightens up a little bit as well, but not nearly as well as some wearables like Iris Vision. When we went to New York in the Natural History Museum, we went into one room where I could not see a thing. It was so dark. And I put on the Iris Vision, and it was like somebody flipped the light switch and turned the lights on. It was like, oh, room's a lot bigger than I thought. And there's the exit over there. There's my family. I could see everything. It was fantastic. Apple Vision Pro does not do that. It does not. If you're in a dark room, you're still in a dark room, and it does not brighten it at all significantly. Not only that, but there seems to be a little bit of a shade on all the time, kind of like you're looking through just some very lightly tinted sunglasses. So even in, if I'm in a regular room and I take them off, the room is brighter without them on.
It's kind of normal.
I know.
Okay, another comment. Jorge, or I don't know if it's Jorge. Oh, Marcos. It's like a name that all of it, there's no spaces in it, so I can't tell where one ends and one begins. So I apologize. 4871 at the end. Just today, a friend asked me what I think of the device, and I said, I'm not sure if it'll work for me due to my low vision. And I also said, I'm waiting for this guy on YouTube, on this YouTube channel, who's also visually impaired, to make a review of it. I can't wait for your review. Thanks. Thought that was
awesome.
funny.
Well, Sunday, coming out Sunday, or no, excuse me, Saturday. And today I just finished up the editing earlier. I'm going to be posting my full kind of walkthrough of the vision related accessibility on the device, as well as the demonstrating or showing you the basic gestures for voiceover. So if you're interested in that, I will post that video a little bit later today.
Okay, Eternity is in the moment. 3543 said, I am legally blind. My vision is 2150 with nystagmus, far and nearsighted. I bought an AVP Sunday and was, Sunday and was extremely nervous because I didn't know if I'd be able to use it. However, I am, and AVP is amazing. It is extremely accessibility friendly, and it works very well for myself. I had the same experience at the Apple Store. I had a wonderful demo person as well, but once I got home, it had no issues. I was watching YouTube last night and responding to text messages. Once you get it set up to accommodate your needs, you're going to be blown away. Thanks for the videos. They are inspiring. So it sounds like they're having a really good experience with it. Of course, their vision's a lot better than yours.
Yeah.
2150 is a lot better than yours.
Yeah. And that's awesome. Yeah. Someone else in one of the comments, one of the other comments I saw on that video, my unboxing video, someone said that they love it and they watch movies in it and stuff. So yeah, it's everybody's having different experiences. Like I said, I'll share mine next Saturday.
Okay. Carlos Bittencourt said, my condition is hemianopathy. I'm not sure how to say that, to the right side. And it's even difficult learning to use my tablet in the configurations. Also, I am at the blind rehab at the VA in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And you had said there is quite a learning curve, correct? For learning the different, what are they called? Gestures.
Gestures, yeah. It's essentially none of the gestures are the same. Like voiceover gestures are the same as on an actual phone or a tablet. So you do have to learn all new gestures. And I even talk about this in the video that's I'm posting today. Is I work with people all the time training iOS and voiceover gestures and stuff, and I tell them it just takes time. It just takes practice and patience. The more you do it, the better you get. This is really no different. The gestures are not complicated. It's just a matter of learning the different ones and when to use them.
Okay. One question inside of another one, the person said, I'm curious to know how the zoom works. Like if you can easily zoom in while in pass-through mode, or if it just applies to the menus/UI.
So yeah, this is a big one. A lot of people have asked this question, and I am sad to report that it does not have any type of video magnification. Like, our iPhones and iPads, they come with a built-in video magnifying app. The Apple Vision Pro does not have that. There is no way to zoom your pass through in order to see things like at a distance, like some of the wearables we have, eSight, Iris Vision, they do that. You cannot do that right now with the Apple Vision Pro. It does have the zoom magnifier, but like the commenter says, it only zooms in the window that you are actively looking at. So the window that's floating in space in front of you, you can zoom in and magnify that and make it bigger. But the surrounding pass-through area, the environment you're in, does not magnify.
Okay. One person mentioned that, which I hadn't even thought of, but sadly the magnets that they use makes it a no-go for them due to a medical device. And I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, certain medical devices, like some pacemakers, a magnet can actually turn it off.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I didn't even think of that myself.
Yeah. So that didn't occur to me. And that's really, yeah. Okay. Cindy Montanaro 2902 said, it's so great that you did this, Sam. My low vision dad is intrigued by this and really was hoping you'd give this some thought. I'm wondering whether Envision will make an app for this in the future. Do you, are there any apps not made by Apple that are available on it, or not yet?
Yes, it does have apps. So there's a very small catalog currently. I mean, small in relative terms, of apps that are made for the Vision Pro. that really take advantage of the immersive environment and all of that. And I say small, but I mean, it's like, you know, a couple hundred apps that are available. But there are hundreds of thousands of apps in the App Store that do work on the Apple Vision Pro, but they're essentially iPad apps. So when you open up a window in front of you, you're essentially it's just like a floating iPad that you can resize, make bigger, and all that. So it's not really taking advantage of the technology of the headsets, but you still can use them, and it works just like you would doing on an iPad. But as far as accessible vision related apps, I don't think there are any currently that are made for the Apple Vision Pro yet. And that's the whole thing. And I kind of stressed this in my review video that this thing is brand new. I mean, it's only been out for 2 weeks now. And it's got amazing hardware. As a technology, it's incredible. It's far past anything that else that's out there right now. But it is still in version 1 OS, like 0.1 or something like that, 0.2 or something. So it is still a baby in its software, and it's going to continue to get better. So I'm sure things like Be My Eyes eventually will be added into it. I'm sure the magnifying app will be added into it at some point. It's just not there now.
Yeah. Thomas Grillo said, as much as that product costs, it should have come with a hard shell carrying case. And I just had to read that one because I said the exact same thing. Like, I think it's kind of ridiculous that it did not come with a case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But he also said, I'm particularly interested in font size control on that headset set, and looking forward to your follow up. Does it have font size control?
Yeah. It essentially the same settings that's on iPhones and iPads, and I demonstrate all of that in the video that I'm going to be putting out today. You can, just like regular iOS or iPad OS, you can adjust the size of the text, but you know, it's to a certain point.
Something that I thought was really interesting. MMYH2MI said there's a voiceover user who works at the Apple Store in their town. So it's so helpful to be able to ask questions from someone who uses the accessibility features every single day at work and at home. Like, oh, wow, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That's awesome. Yeah. I think every Apple Store needs that.
Seriously. I mean, I just feel like or at least every region has someone that can, you know, if you schedule a demo or whatever, they could be there for it.
Yeah.
Several people mentioned questions about only having one eye or only having vision in one eye, and wondering if they would still be able to use it, like if you have to have vision in both eyes to be able to use it.
You do not. And in fact, it has a setting where you can turn off one eye or the other, or use both eyes. So that is in there. And once again, I demonstrate that in the video that's coming out later today.
Someone said you should try Big Screen Beyond. It costs half the price and is very light. Are you familiar with that?
No, that's Big Screen Beyond.
Yeah.
I'll make a note of that. Big Screen Beyond. Got it.
I'm still reading through some of this. Let me look real quick at the.
Yeah.
Carry on Accessibility asked, if you use the camera, can you zoom in with that on the Vision Pro?
There is no camera. So you press the left button here on the top, and that takes an immersive picture. And then you can go in and kind of, it's all 3D and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I tried it a couple times. I don't think I saw anything about a zoom. I don't think there is a zoom.
Okay. Sorry, there's so many to go through. A lot of people looking forward to the follow-up video, which I think makes a lot of sense.
I've recorded
Mike
most of it.
Wheeler, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I've recorded most of it. I just need to start editing and all that. So it's definitely coming out next Saturday, though.
Mike Wheeler said, I'm very interested in the Vision Pro and how accessible it is for someone that's totally blind with no sight. That'll be interesting because it is a very, I mean, it's called the Vision Pro. It is a very visual
yeah,
device. Carrie said, wow, so the pass-through is basically the viewfinder?
Basically, yep. Yeah, the pass-through is just what's in front of you. And I mean, like, all of that is super cool. It's a great idea. There's zero lag because this front screen is not see-through. You know, this is solid. This is where all the electronics and everything is. So what you're seeing is these two little cameras in the front, what they're seeing. And they've done a great job with no latency. There's zero lag. Like, you know, I can toss a ball up and catch it, you know, through the goggles without any problems because there's no lag. So that's all really cool. You know, you can interact with people. You can see, you can wear them when you're walking around. I've got videos of me doing that. But it doesn't zoom or anything like that. And one issue which I ran into during my demo, I talk about this in my video, is VoiceOver. When it's turned on, your pass-through is essentially the camera app of your iPhone or your iPad. And if you guys have used that with VoiceOver, you know what it does when you look at a person. It says one person in front of you, one person, two people in front of you, three people. Well, imagine sitting in the Apple store doing a demo and turning on VoiceOver, and you're in a room full of like 100 people all moving around. It was insane. I almost, after a while, I had to turn around and like point my head down to the ground because I could not take it anymore. It was just constantly telling me one person, two people, three people, and trying to listen to the voiceover, trying to listen to the lady next to me, trying to focus on this while it's yelling how many people are. It was tough. I had to like stop for a little, like, I got to take a break because it's just overwhelming. So when you're in your home, it's no problem because you're not looking at anybody. But that's one issue that they need to address, and I've already given them feedback about that.
Okay. Sorry, I had one and now I've just lost it.
Sorry.
Oh, here it is. Someone Demer Sir said, hi Sam, as always, thank you so much for all of your insights and help. I'd love to know if you think this would be a suitable device to replace a work monitor. I personally have a 42-inch LG C3 as my work monitor at home. I work in IT and sometimes have to go into the office. I'd like to have a device like this to use as my monitor when I'm in the office, as I don't have a designated desk and therefore have to rely on small monitors. Would this be a good option, or do you have suggestions for another wearable? Thank you.
So you can, once again, I can't, I'm not going to give any kind of like opinionative answers, but it does mirror your monitor on a Mac. There's no way to connect this to a PC, unfortunately, unless you are a developer. But a Mac, it actually is seamless. You know, just like all Apple connectivity stuff, they work well together. There's two different ways to connect it to your Mac and display the screen in front of you virtually. And I did this. I demonstrated in my video that's coming out next week. And I made my screen as big as I could get it, my virtual screen as big as I could get it, and brought it as close as I could to me. And I was sitting on the couch, and it was floating in front of me about 10 inches away from my face. And I actually, I'm sure I look silly, and I'm very looking forward to watching my footage, because I went and got a tape measure, and I actually measured on the diagonal the size of this virtual screen. So I'm sure it looked weird, me just kind of doing this in my living room to nothing. But I measured it, and it measured out to about 75 inches. So you have this 75-inch 4K screen floating in front of you about 10 inches away. And you can put it wherever you need to. You can put wherever you want it to. So if you think that would be helpful, and then all of your accessibility that you do on your computer, it just translates onto that, zooming in, all of that. It just acts as an external monitor. So if you think that would be helpful for you, then it probably would be.
Okay. I don't see anything else that is necessarily something you need to ask. Just a lot of it is asking for your opinion on various things. So, something that was mentioned several times is since it does eye tracking, does it work if you have an astigmus or like you where you have a blind spot so you don't look where you're looking, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the main way that this is controlled. You control this is by you look at an item and then you do a hand gesture to choose it. So yeah, in my case, I don't have central vision. I physically cannot look right at an item. But they give you several different ways to control it other than eye tracking. And in fact, you can skip the eye tracking test. Now, it may be if you turn on voiceover right at the beginning, then you can skip it. Can't remember if you can skip it if accessibility is not turned on. I forget. But either way, you can skip that and you can use one of these other methods. I primarily used voiceover to navigate around and choose what I wanted to. You can also turn on a virtual pointer where wherever you point your finger, this pointer line comes out, like a laser pointer comes out, and you just point it at the item and then you give the gesture and choose it. There's even something for people that basically are amputees and you don't have arms. You can do head tracking to choose things. Yeah, so they give you lots of different options, and there's even a setting which I have not been able to confirm this yet, but I talk about it in the video that's coming up later today. But there's a setting about where you can disable the tracking for rapid eye movement. If that's causing issues, you can turn that off, and it doesn't specifically say that's for nystagmus, but I would have to think it is.
Okay, so that wraps up that. If anyone has any additional questions about the Apple Vision Pro, pop them in the chat and we'll get to them. In the meantime, Sam, Carrie, William, and Eric have been talking about the eSight Go. Have you tried that yet?
Yeah, I did it. Well, I did a demo of the prototype at ATIA 2023. And then they had it again and then I was in talks with them throughout the whole year while it was still being developed. And then I saw that again at ATIA 2024 and got some clips with it, just preparing for my video. They are supposed to send me one very soon, in fact, and for a full review video. I will say that, well, first and foremost, eSight has never worked for me across the board, and it still doesn't work for me. It's just that device just does not work with my vision impairment. But I will say that the Go is the best version I've ever tried and works the best out of all of the previous versions for me. It's still not, like I said, it's still not something I could use, reliably and consistently and all that, but it does work the best. Doesn't work, but works the best.
Eric also asked, did they get bought out by another company that you know of?
eSight? No,
Yeah.
I don't believe. I don't know if they have. I don't believe so.
Their branding wasn't different or anything at ATIA then.
Not that I noticed, but I really didn't spend a ton of time there. Sunu Band has completely closed down. Sunu, they disbanded or they dissolved, whatever you want to say, a couple months back. So they are pretty much done. Iris Vision changed their logo. They've kind of going more towards the medical side. Although, like I said, the Iris Vision Live 2.0, I do have that, and we'll be making a video at some point. I've got a busy month in March. I'm going to be traveling every single week in March, pretty much. So not too many new videos coming out in March, but after that, things should slow down, and I'll be putting out new stuff then.
Okay, we're going to knock out some more questions from the chat here.
All right.
Okay, actually, both Daisy Lopez Monteroso and somebody else, Carrie on accessibility, had asked you, how's the Mac OS going? Daisy says she can't wait for more of those Mac OS videos to come out, and Carrie was just wondering, like, do you like your Mac?
I mean, it's fine. Yeah. Daisy, I apologize. I've been bad about getting that stuff out. It's just there's so many other really cool stuff that's been coming out so fast and furiously uh, that Mac has kind of been put on the back burner. Um, I do. I mean, I like it fine. It's different, obviously, than PC, and I've been a PC user pretty much as long as I've been using computers, since I was a teenager. And so it's some things I'm like, why? Oh, this doesn't make sense. Why do you do it like this? But then there's some things that I'm like, oh, I wish PC had this. So it's taken some getting used to. One thing that I've run into that surprised me, and I've asked my contacts at Apple, and nobody really can seem to understand why. And I've seen other videos about it, is that when I connect my Mac to my 4K Samsung monitor, um, and then I zoom in with the magnifier, it's all fuzzy. It's not clear. It's not crystal sharp. Not like it is on my PC. And I do have the edge smoothing turned on. It's not pixelated, but it is the edge smoothing that's causing the problem. If I turn off edge smoothing, then it's pixelated, but at least I have sharp definition on the edges. But if I turn on edge smoothing, it kind of fuzzy on the edges. So that was surprising to me. And it has something to do with the way that they render. It's like 6K and they render it down to 4K. I don't know. But nobody can quite explain it. Now, I'm sure if I wanted to spend $3,000 and buy an Apple 8K monitor or 5K monitor, it would be great. But kind of don't want to do that.
That's not in the budget.
Nah. So that was interesting to me. So,
I
but
think
yeah,
it's hard. I think it's just hard too, just to go from PC to Apple, right? Like, it's just
yeah.
when you've used a PC your entire life, it's hard to switch back and forth.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's doable. It's manageable. But and a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff makes sense. I mean, it's very similar stuff. It's just packaged a little bit differently.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Skylar did, and she hasn't complained about it at all. She jumped over to Mac this year and
Yeah.
haven't had any issues with it. Okay, Daisy had another question. She said, speaking of tech, the ATIA video you uploaded mentioned and featured the Game One clock console. Any chance for you to feature a video or two to show off some of that gaming as a VIP stuff?
So I spoke with the two people that work for a company that do accessible gaming. Is that what you're talking about? I think that was the only gaming thing um
Probably.
on my video. And I could reach back out to them. I don't know that they don't have like a specific product or anything. I think they help people set up accessible gaming. Excuse me. Um,
Oh, like set their equipment up?
yeah, just kind of get them into accessible gaming. Um, so I could look into it more. Daisy, let me know if that's what you're talking about. The two gentlemen that were just talking. One was a British guy and one was an American, and they were talking about accessible gaming.
Okay, just scrolling through, seeing if there's anything else. Glamoli, am I saying that right? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, she said she just sent the email with her phone number.
Awesome thing. I think it's like Glamali or something like that.
Okay. Still looking.
Yeah, for those of you that are asking about the Vision Pro, those kind of questions, whether it's going to be good for this or that, stay tuned to my video. Like I said, I go over all the different stuff. I show clips of like the desktop and all of that and me using it. So I think that's going to answer a lot of those questions. Um, whether this is going to be good for people that are totally blind or accessible for them or that kind of thing. I address all of that, especially at the end when I give my final thoughts on the device.
Mike Wheeler said, for the low price of 99 cents, you can become a member and help Sam get an Apple TV. LOL. But he did say he did say the member Zoom meetings are so much fun.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys are interested, we do the monthly members only Zoom call, and it ends up being, a lot of people are talking about how it's more of like a support group. And we talk about all kinds of things. We have a great time. It's usually on the first Saturday of every month. And in order to join that, you have to be a member. But like Mike said, it's $1 a month to be a member, or if you're super generous, it's $5 a month to be a member. Either way, that gets you access to the Zoom calls and some other things, like you get a cool little logo next to your name in the chat and stuff. But main thing is it does help support the channel. I was able to get this headset because of things like membership, channel membership. And I am very, very fortunate to be able to do that. And I really appreciate all the support that the members offer.
Okay.
Check out the description for more information.
Ty Rocky said, one thing I like about the Mac is that if you use a Bluetooth keyboard with an iPad or iPhone, the keyboard commands are pretty much the same. That would be true. Yeah.
Yep. Ty's one of the members. He joins the Zoom call as well.
Yeah, Ty's in here. Harpreet's in here. Tom Hendrickson. We got Ricky May. We got tons of members in here.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Wheeler, Carrie.
Carrie's never joined one of our calls. Come on, Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie. Kathy Michael is a member. There's a lot of members in here today.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, Tom Hendrickson said, hope to see your comments about Gemini versus Assistant from a low vision perspective.
All right. We can look into that.
Yeah.
That too.
Anthony was just asking if you tried the eSight Go and have any thoughts. Anthony, as soon as we're done, just rewatch this video, and you'll have to rewind back just a little bit from this point, because he had a conversation about that already. It's Glamole Eyes, or better yet, just Molly.
Ah, okay.
Molly it is.
How do you spell Gemini?
Gemini.
So can I I got that. Can I get real with you people for a second here? So Rachel can attest to how terrible I am at spelling. I mean, you had a little example of it there. Part of it goes to how I never see words written. I only hear them. So you don't get that reinforcement of how words are spelled by seeing them spelled out. So that's why I'm a terrible speller. But I swear I have never put that first R in the word February. Has it always been FEBR? Or is this like is this a Mandela effect? Like, I swear I've always thought it was FEBU.
No, it's February, not February.
See, I say February, February.
No, there's an R.
Anybody else? Come on, back me up. There's no.
I mean, that's
no R.
You're a poor speller because you don't see written words very often, but you also mispronounce words because you don't see the spelling of them. Like we have the arena, the biggest arena in our area where people play concerts. It's also where UK basketball plays. It's called Rupp Arena. It's RUPP. It's actually one of a long time ago, one of a really successful coaches that was his last name. But Sam for years called it Rump.
RUMP. I still call it Rump Arena.
It drives me crazy, but it's because you don't see the written word.
I think I think Mike Wheeler would agree that it should be called Rump Arena, right, Mike? Come on.
I don't know. Mike just typed out Feb period RU period ARY period.
February. It just doesn't sound right. February. I'm gonna keep calling it February. January, February. It just makes sense, right? What was the other one? When we first got together, you kept having to correct me until finally it clicked that I said width and height. I would say height with a TH.
Oh yeah, instead of just height.
Height.
Yeah.
I say it right now, but it's still, every time I say it, it's still
You have to
like
think
a
about
little
it.
bit unsure if that's height. Are you sure? You sure it's not TH at the end? Height? Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's
Okay.
like every time I hear Wednesday in my head, I'm thinking Wednesday because that's how I
Wednesday.
learned
Yeah.
to spell it.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's interesting. I just read something online this week when they were talking about how some videos will have, you know, how like they have audio description for you guys or they have subtitles, but they'll also have a sign, like the sign language in the corner. And someone was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why do you need sign language if you have subtitles? And someone was saying that there's a decent number of hearing impaired people that are not strong readers because spelling is so phonetic. And if you're completely
Ah,
deaf, phonetic doesn't, it makes it very difficult to learn the spelling of words, so it's easier for them, you know. And for them, technically, English isn't their first language; sign language is their first language. So, I thought that was
yeah, that
interesting.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Huh.
um, yeah. I definitely think you are probably not the only visually impaired person who's a poor speller.
Yeah, unless you do Braille. Braille helps with that, but yeah, I never did.
Yeah. Jason Barber said he just became a member this week, so you'll
Ah,
have to the first. Are you going to be able to do the live stream the first Saturday of March? Are you in town?
yes, yeah, we will be doing that. And Jason is the cattle farmer I was talking about earlier. That's used
Oh,
Be My
okay.
Eyes. Jason, I was telling everybody your story.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay. Shall we move on to the next video? We only have one left
sure.
that we need to do comments on. So this was the Raycon Everyday Earbuds review and questioning whether it's the
Yeah,
best earbuds for the visually impaired.
a little bit of a clickbait there,
Um,
but yeah.
a lot of people said they use them and like them though.
Yes,
But
I noticed that through the comments as well.
yeah, a couple of people asked a similar question, and they're really curious about how the buttons work. As far as when you're answering a phone call or starting and stopping audiobooks. One person said they have some dexterity issues in their hands as well and would like to know how the buttons functions in respect to that. And then Moto Bojo 2 said, I listen to podcasts a lot and the sponsor spots and ads seem to be getting longer and more frequent. So the ability to easily skip forward and back is very important, as well as pause and play. The controls to answer the phone and hang up are also important. What can you tell us about the controls of this sort? The physical button is nice, but what about the details of their use and ability? I went to their website and didn't find any details on that.
Yeah, so it's just one button. Each ear bud has one button, and it's just depending on what you're doing, where you are. Essentially, it's either a click or a double click or a press and hold kind of thing, and you just have to memorize what they do. But like to fast forward or to start and stop playback, it's just a tap. It's just a one click. Of either earbud. To turn up the volume, it's like a long click of either earbud. To turn up the volume, you click the right one, you press and hold the right one. To turn down, you press and hold the left. To skip ahead, you like do a double click. If the phone's ringing, then tapping the one of the earbuds, either one will answer the call. Double clicking will, or press and hold will dismiss the call, that sort of thing. So it's very simple button clicks, and it's just either one click, two clicks, or a press and hold. There may,
Okay.
there may even be like a click and press and hold kind of trick, but it's all. There's actually a very good video. Somebody made a video describing those click. That's where I learned how to do it all too, because it comes with a manual. But come on, us, we can't read the manual, especially not an earbud manual. That you want to talk about tiny print.
I can't read the earbud manual.
Yeah, yeah. So what I always do, I go on YouTube because I'm like, surely somebody's made of it. Oh, yep, there it is, right there. We love you, YouTube. You're awesome. So yeah, it's not
Okay,
difficult.
Amy J. Lee said, what about wearing one at a time? Does the microphone automatically switch from one to the other? Or is it only on one of them? Do you know?
That is a very good question. I would say that it does. I think they have two microphones. I think each one has a microphone because it has like noise canceling. as I talked about in my demonstration. And so for that, it would be ideal if you had two microphones, to record, dialogue and wind noise and all that. So I would think, I didn't test that out and I can't confirm, but I would think that surely it would switch over to whichever one is out.
Would these Hans last said, would these earbuds work using navigation software like Voice Vista or Lazarillo or Blind Square, since these earbuds have aware mode?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just like any headphones or earbuds, they're gonna transmit the sound coming from the phone into your ears. So whatever sound that is, if it's turn by turn navigation or music or podcast or book or whatever, it should work no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is Tis Me Here 492 said, I wish they had earbuds that could force it to emit a tone in case you drop them and could not find them. That's a very good idea.
Yeah. Now the AirPods, they do have a way to find them using your phone. If you can't find one, it will lead you right to it. But I think these, regular ones don't have anything like that. But yeah, that would be a good idea as well.
Okay.
And somebody else
Several
left a
people
comment.
Go ahead.
So someone else left a comment that the awareness mode on the the AirPods is the best in the class or whatever, best in the market, and didn't know what I was talking about. And number one, I said that other reviewers have said other people say that Raycon is on par with AirPods and in a lot of ways better audio quality than AirPods at half the price. I don't have AirPods. I don't own AirPods, so I didn't have a way to test that claim. I was just kind of letting everybody know that that's what some people say, and I never said anything about the awareness mode being better than AirPods awareness mode, just that, audio quality. So, my whole thing is they're half the price. They're $80, whereas the cheapest AirPods I think is like 160, brand new of the modern day AirPods. So it's a good alternative in my opinion.
Yeah. There are many suggestions of what earbuds other people prefer over these. Or
and
maybe not even prefer over these, but just what their favorites are. So if anyone is wanting to look at different options, there's a lot of suggestions in here you could research.
Yeah. And a lot of people like bone conducting headphones. I mean, Jason, who's in here, he even sent me an email with said he really likes these specific bone conducting headphones. I just don't like bone conducting headphones. I have never liked them. I've done reviews of several pairs. I just don't love them. I don't like the way you can't hear them as well. Maybe it's because I've got a big head. You think that would improve the sound, but no. I don't like the way that they vibrate on your face. When the sound's coming through, it makes this weird vibration tingling thing that always makes me want to scratch really bad. I don't know. It's just me. A lot of people love them though.
That's pretty much it for the comments on that video. I love the last one by Not a Woke Liberal. It says, these are trash and cheap. Can't believe you fell for it. That's a helpful comment.
Thanks. Thanks for sharing. Like and subscribe.
Anyway, going back to our chat here on this video, and we were talking about pronunciation and spelling and stuff. And Paul Kress said, "How do they come up with the pronunciation for Yosemite? Tell me how that happened." And that makes me laugh because Sam and I were just watching a YouTube video where a girl was wearing the Apple Vision Pros and she was reading books with them, and she said Yosemite out loud. And as soon as she did it, she's like, Yosemite, why did I say that?
Yes. Yeah.
That also made me laugh. Okay. Don Winfrey is here. He's a member as well.
Hey, Don. Don's trying to help me organize a meetup in California.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Makadu said my Nystagmus failed the eye tracking test at my demo for the Vision Pro, and they sent me home because they couldn't get them past it.
Ah, see, yeah. When I did my demo, we got stuck. I think the unit I was using was messed up because I could not, VoiceOver would not let me choose to skip the test. And I ended up taking that eye tracking test 4 times. And of course I failed it every time because I couldn't see any of that stuff. And it got to the point where the lady was watching on the iPad and she's like, it's at 12 o'clock. It's at 4 o'clock. It's at 6 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, I feel like this is cheating, but all right, just to get past this. Yeah. And like I said, I've spoken with my contacts and we've talked about ways that to improve the demo experience for people who are visually impaired or other disabilities, because it's not ideal. I mean, you're in this room, it's hundreds of people in there, they're all talking, there's music, there's videos flashing everywhere, and we're supposed to try and focus on this and try to listen to the thing talking to us and listen to this person next. It's just not ideal.
Okay, I think that I am caught up on comments in the chat, guys. If I missed something of yours, which I'm sure I did, please type it again because I've been going back and forth between YouTube comments and this, so I'm sure I missed something. So if you had a question that I missed, by all means, please put it back in there.
All right. Well, in the meantime, let's talk about our giveaway.
Okay.
Arguably the best part of every talkback.
Yeah, we're already an hour and 15 minutes into this.
Yeah, we got to get going. We got a Super Bowl to watch later.
Yeah. We got a 7-layer dip to make.
Yeah, we got to make some hors d'oeuvres. That's how it's pronounced, right? Don't ask me how that's spelled. Oh my gosh.
I mean, at least that's from a different language. It makes a little bit. I mean, that's a French-based word. So.
All right, so the giveaway today, we are doing 2 giveaways again this month, and we are giving away this new product that got sent to me, and I actually saw Carrie feature this in a I can't remember if it was a TikTok or a YouTube short, but this is the Opticoaster, 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 like optical coaster. So this is a drink coaster that offers a lot of features for the low vision. So for low vision, so it is high contrast. It is this bright yellow with a black center part. It's raised up, so there is a lip here. It has rubber feet on the bottom, so it will not slide around very easily. And also, it's got some tactile elements around the edges, but there's also a glow in the dark ring on the inside. So if you're in a low light situation, it should stand out a little bit. Now, I will admit it doesn't glow as much as I would like. I don't know if Carrie tested that when she was checking it out, but if you turn off the lights, I mean, it's got a little faint kind of glow. Not nearly as bright as I would like. It would be awesome if this had like a little switch to where like LEDs would shine up on the make this thing really glow, but it's not bad. So this is the Opticoaster, and I will include a link to this in the video description after we get done with the live stream. If you guys want to come back, you could be able to click onto that. I'll also try to pin it as a top comment. But we are giving away 2 of these. A huge thank you to the people that sell Opticoaster. It's just fun to say. Huge thank you to them for sending out a bunch of these for me to give away, and we'll be doing these in a future giveaway as well because I've got a bunch. But yeah, if you are interested in purchasing one of these, very simple. You just need to come back to this video after we get done and wrapped up and it gets posted to my YouTube. Come back and leave a comment. Don't leave a comment in the chat because we're not going to be going by that. We're going to be going by the comments in the finished completed video. And we just need to leave a comment. We'll make it easier. I won't make you put in Opticoaster, but maybe just coaster, like a drink coaster. And let me confirm because now I
COASTER, because we know we got the bad spellers. So COASTER.
Yes, it isn't. There is an A. I see now. I question everything when it comes to spelling.
You should not question my spelling.
I always ask the A lady how to spell stuff, and I sometimes when I'm at work, I do it very quietly. I do the whisper thing, so my colleagues can't hear me asking. Guy doesn't know how to spell, beyond. What's wrong with him? But so yeah, just leave a comment saying that you would like to win the coaster, COASTER, and that is how we will choose the winner. And once again, I will come back in a couple of weeks and I will post a video announcing the winner. And we've got 2 of them, so we will have 2 winners.
Sam, what about geographically who is able to participate?
We will do this for North America, all of that, the Americas. We'll do it for the Americas and Canada.
Yeah, sorry, guys. It's just that shipping can get crazy.
Yes. When you going over the ocean, it gets costly.
I mean, even actually moly, even to Canada, it gets isn't it moly that's in Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get really pricey up to Canada, it's just crazy. But okay, because one time when Sam didn't limit it, it was I can't remember who won, but you had to spend like well over $100 to ship it, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, they're in the Philippines.
Yeah, it was like insane. So
for a thing that I like cost $12 to buy, and so. But you know what? I'm not complaining. This is what the membership on the channel helps to cover, and we truly appreciate it. And everybody that enters a contest and wins a prize, they I'm sure they're thankful for the membership as well.
Yeah. But Abdul Kareem said, "Is there a place where all of us can connect? I want to connect with other VIs." I have a few suggestions. Number one, there are many, many, many groups on Facebook. I know Sam is a member of some of them that he's a member of are very specifically Stargarts groups. But there are a lot of groups on Facebook. There is a Blind Life Discord. I will preface that by saying Sam pretty much never checks it. I very rarely do. Have you made someone a whatever it's called?
Moderator? No.
Moderator.
Matt Filipinko offered to do it, and I'm just been so busy. I haven't been able to get a hold of him and get that worked out.
So it's not super busy, but I mean, people do go in there. So it's just on Discord. It's the Blind Life.
And Carrie has a Discord as well.
Hers is probably more active, I bet, because she's probably on it.
She's better than I am at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
Carrie, you want to be my moderator? You can take care of 2 of them, right? Come on.
I'm not sure if Carrie's still on here because she hasn't commented in a while. She may have taken off.
That's all right.
Okay. Anything else, Sam? I don't see any other questions that have popped up on here.
No, I think that is it. Thank you everybody for joining us. Like I said, stay tuned. The big Apple Vision Pro video will come out next Saturday, this coming up Saturday. I've got the accessibility walkthrough video coming up later today, and also talking about voiceover gestures. So stay tuned for that as well. And just gonna keep on going. More cool stuff coming out in the near future. Check out, if you're interested in becoming a member, check out the description down below, or you can go to the YouTube channel. There is a membership tab. The URL is youtube.com/theblindlife/membership. But all that information is in the description of all my videos as well. But I think that's it.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. And and happy Super Bowl Sunday.
To those who celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
bye-bye.
We'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye, everybody.